and Jeannie is here with us. Brew, how much pressure is Brock Purdy under?
All kidding aside, a lot. Oh. I mean, like, really. Like, I mean, we know the contract. $265 million, no trade clause.
Yep.
His position, that's not the pressure. But if he goes out there and doesn't play, because Mac has played well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, I think Brock is the legitimate starter, but there's no doubt Mac Jones has played well. There's no doubt Kyle Shanahan really liked him coming out of the draft, and that, looks like it would have been a good fit. But I think with Brock, until he either wins the Super Bowl, or I don't even think he's going to win an MVP award, but say he won an MVP award, there's going to always be doubts about him to a certain degree. And to some degree, if your backup comes and plays well, there can be doubts anyway. And remember with Dak, we joke about, I thought Cooper Rush. Mm-hmm. But Cooper Rush, they went 4-1. Dak, they were winning without Dak, so you heard some rumblings. So because of his pedigree, though, Mr. Irrelevant, Mac Jones being a guy that led Alabama to the national championship, was the 15th pick in the draft. Like, their pedigrees are so different that I think there's going to be those questions about Brock if he doesn't play well. And if he doesn't play well this week and say they lose to Arizona, then again, while his position seems secure, there's going to be chirping from the fan base. There's going to be, you've already heard it on TV in some, not just our show, but other shows. And so it will get louder and louder. Whether it's fair or not, it's going to get louder and louder if he doesn't play and they lose.
And I think
play well and they lose.
Shanahan will play the better guy if he feels Mac's the better guy. Like, if they, and this is what I want to ask you, we all agree that Brock Purdy is the 49ers starting quarterback because of the contract, because of the no trade. But we also now have proof of concept that despite all of their injuries, this is a competitive football team.
Yeah.
This is a team that, and in the NFC right now, is in the thick of the playoff race. So if Brock comes out and plays really poorly and they lose, I personally could foresee a circumstance. Maybe it wouldn't just be a one-game quick trigger, but maybe
they could blame it on the toe.
That's what I was going to say.
Bench,
that they could say, you know what, we've tried this twice now.
Yep.
He thought he was ready. He wasn't ready. We're going to give him, a real sit. We're going to put him on the IR for 4 weeks and give him time to recover. And Mac Jones, so because Brock's almost coaching a potentially better position that they have this record because he could go on a real run.
Yeah.
But potentially worse position in that if they were 3-6 and Brock came out and played poorly, I think they could deal with it better than if the playoffs started today, we'd be in it and we want to stay in it.
And they've already said the toe is not right or wrong.
Not going to heal.
It's not
going
to be 100% this year.
Yeah, the willingness to make that decision really depends on how bought in everybody was on the decision to extend him. So were they in lockstep in the sense that he is absolutely our franchise quarterback, or was it pushed more by the GM or more by the head coach? If it's pushed more by the head coach, then he's going to try to keep justifying that decision. If it was pushed more by the GM and the owner and the head coach was on board, but maybe not 100% on board, then there's going to be a quicker window to pull them. And what I did is I went and I looked at how Brock Purdy played from this point last year, so this exact week last year, up to now, and it's not very good. He's 2-7. So starting this week last year, he's 2-7. He's missed 8 games, and he's thrown 12 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
Okay, well, that statistic doesn't mean anything. It's just a random sample from a period when the team was devastated by injuries. And frankly, Shanahan wasn't handling the injury situation well at that time. I don't even know what point he's trying to make. It holds absolutely zero relevance to the current situation. Just because a stat exists doesn't mean we should arbitrarily pluck it from thin air. You could just as easily take a random sample of Tom Brady's stats from specific weeks in 2009. He definitely had a completion percentage and threw some touchdowns. You see how meaningless that is? But to be serious, there is a tremendous amount of pressure on Brock Purdy right now. The backup quarterback, Mac Jones, has been playing great. He's been awesome. That's the reality. We are currently at a peak in the NFL where there's a widespread acceptance that coaching matters tremendously. We're seeing Sam Darnold improve, we're seeing Baker Mayfield revitalized, and now we're seeing Mac Jones play well. It forces us to reconsider. Maybe we reach conclusions on quarterbacks too soon. It makes you think. Look at Joe Flacco with the Bengals. It shows that coaching and roster construction matter immensely. It makes you wonder, what would Joe Flacco have looked like in his 20s with an Andy Reid or a Sean McVay? We always talk about Eli Manning winning 2 Super Bowls against Tom Brady, but the Giants weren't considered the best-run team or the best coached team. What if he had played in a more offensively progressive, well-run franchise during that era? Maybe we wouldn't use Eli Manning as the benchmark we do. We're at the peak of recognizing that a lot of quarterbacks can win when the situation is right. And now, the 49ers paid Brock Purdy all this money. Understandably so. But he hasn't been playing, and his backup has been exceptional. Now, if Brock Purdy returns and doesn't play well, no one wants to hear, well, he's not 100%. The fan reaction will be, if you're not 100%, then don't play. And if he is deemed healthy enough to play and still isn't great, then people will ask, well, what are we doing here? So, there is tremendous pressure on him. He knows it, and he feels it. It's not a situation where his job is immediately on the line. But the dynamic can get weird, and it can get weird fast. Even though they paid him a massive contract, and Mac Jones has undoubtedly played himself into a much more valuable position, it's important to note that Mac Jones didn't look like this with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A quarterback can be great in one place and not in another, and that doesn't diminish what Mac Jones is doing now, nor does it solely define Brock Purdy. The relationship between coaching, roster, and quarterback is mutually beneficial. It's a complex, delicate dance. We often try to oversimplify it. For instance, people said, Sam Darnold wasn't great in New York, so it's clearly all Shane Steichen's doing. Then Sam Darnold goes to Seattle and finds success, and we say, well, Seattle has a good team and a great coach. All these things can be true simultaneously. The reality is, a quarterback can't be great without a great coach and a great roster. A mediocre quarterback can look pretty good with a great roster and a great coach. A great quarterback can still be pretty good with a bad coach and a bad roster. There are many combinations, but we often try to draw definitive conclusions from them. We say, oh, this is proof that Brock Purdy isn't that great. Look what Mac Jones is doing. But that's not necessarily the correct takeaway, just as it wasn't with Sam Darnold. If you give a really good quarterback like Kirk Cousins a great coach and a great roster, he will succeed at a very high level. Glad we figured that out. So it's just a weird situation for the 49ers. We're in an interesting period where people are quick to reassess how good an individual quarterback truly is. There is tremendous, tremendous pressure on Brock Purdy. If fans are watching the game and he doesn't look great, they will be thinking, put Mac Jones back in. That's just how it goes. Everyone always loves the backup quarterback. There are very few made men in the NFL, quarterbacks whose jobs are completely secure no matter what. I would say the only true made men are Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. It's a bit different for older quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, who are nearer the end of their careers. But for those with a long runway ahead, they are in a different category. If Jalen Hurts struggles for the next 2 years, people might say, maybe it's time to move on. You could maybe throw Justin Herbert into the made man conversation, but it's not as clear. Trevor Lawrence hasn't reached that status. Dak Prescott is at a point in his career where if he struggles for a couple of years, people would say he's past his prime. Quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones are certainly not made men. Public opinion on them can shift rapidly. Kyler Murray isn't one either. Some might even prefer Jacoby Brissett right now. I'm sure I'm missing a couple of quarterbacks, but you get the point. The situation is complicated by Purdy's contract, but in the NFL, you can justify almost any move. Ultimately, it comes down to winning. Now, let me be clear. I am a believer in Brock Purdy. I've always praised him and defended him against those who tried to downplay his success. But from a commentary standpoint, Brock Purdy is not a made man. If he goes out there and struggles, the narrative won't be, it's okay, we'll navigate this. If Patrick Mahomes were in the same situation, even if he struggled, people would be more likely to make excuses for him, like he's not fully healthy. His job wouldn't be at risk. I don't think Brock Purdy gets that same benefit of the doubt, and understandably so. So yeah, there's a massive amount of pressure on Brock Purdy. That's just the way it goes in this league. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Brock Purdy? How much pressure do you think is on him this Sunday? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree, let's get some discussions going. Let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. Please consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and would love to have you be a part of it. I want to build something we all feel connected to and are really excited about. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really helps with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.